Good morning from the South Dade Chamber of Commerce. I'm Lisa Greer, Chamber Board Member, and here with us today is the City of Homestead's Mayor Steve Losner. Mayor Losner, such a pleasure to have you with us in today's shout out this morning.
Well, thank you. It's good to be back and be able to talk about what's going on in Homestead.
Looking forward to it. So, I've heard, and I live by the fact that perception is 2/3 of our reality, right? And there's a perception, at least in my mind, that the city of Homestead is going through so many positive changes and exciting things, exciting growth. So I'd say in this particular case, perception is our reality, correct?
Absolutely. And the expression I use is that we finally have big projects proposed or being talked about or investigated by really credible and financially able entities rather than in the past where talk was really cheap, and once you dug down into it there was really nothing there. But we are faced with a whole new caliber of interest.
There are things happening. Things are happening in the city of Homestead. So I know that you mentioned something about business plan incentives. Can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. The roots of that are due to the population of Homestead. We received a direct allocation of some of that Rescue Act money, about $19.2 million.
Okay.
We don't have all of it yet. We received half of it about a year ago, and in the coming months, we will receive the second half, and it needs to be at least allocated, dedicated by the end of 2024. A lot of strings attached to it, but one of the clear uses is to rebuild the economy by both helping our businesses that existed during the pandemic and attracting new business. So what's going to be coming before the council very soon is a plan to initially allocate $2 million to allow businesses to offset permit fees, application fees, and most importantly, impact fees. And let me give you an example. We had an applicant for a community redevelopment agency grant to come in who wanted to reconfigure 1,300 square feet of space to do really neat boutique type donuts and other baked goods in downtown. And as we were looking through the application, what drew all of our attention was that the county impact fees to build out 1,300 square feet of existing building were around $60,000.
Oh my goodness.
You got to sell a lot of donuts,
a lot of donuts
to just recap impact fees that go into that bureaucratic black hole at Miami-Dade County. So, and that's a whole other issue, and I've been in contact with Mayor Levine Cava regarding that whole structure. But just as an example, this pool of money that we're proposing can help really soften that blow and get people up and running. Now, there'll be a sliding scale, and as of now, there's no cap on the amount, but it's based upon jobs created. And, you know, five would be the 5 or more would be the ultimate with, you know, a sliding scale of reductions, a percentage paid. But I think that can be a real game changer for those small businesses like the donut shops or even professional offices when you're faced with a ridiculous amount of money just in impact fees. Not to mention permit and inspection fees.
That's huge.
So that's coming, and we'll have that on the street probably in 60 to 90 days.
That is a huge advantage and benefit to coming to the city of Homestead. So pay attention to our viewers and listeners. You want to look to the city of Homestead for those opportunities to bring your business or expand your business into that area. Speaking of businesses coming into the area, I do understand, and I've seen the construction going up for one of additions.
Unless you've been living under a rock, we now have our own Sprouts Market, and they are under a huge expansion program. We are the 32nd Sprouts in the state of Florida now, and they continue to expand. What's really, you know, gratifying to me is that the folks who are in the top 2 managerial positions live in and very near to Homestead. It's not like they're commuter managers. They know our community. They started out, they hired 200 people. I think their starting minimum wage was $17 an hour.
Nice.
You know, by all accounts, the store is busy, it's successful, and it's one of those niche amenities that, you know, our population of 80,000 people really looking forward to. The other one that draws a lot of excitement is Target is coming out of the ground. It's on the, because you're not aware of its location. It's on the east end of the Homestead Pavilion, which is
Yes.
where the Kohl's department store is located.
Yes.
On that last 5 acres to the east end. It's not the smaller scale version. It's comparable to, we're sure, comparable to the facility in Cutler Ridge,
Okay.
with groceries, clothing, everything that a
Okay.
Target has to offer. Their target date is a September, October of this year
22.
opening. As do many other chain stores, they have this rule that you don't open on the eve of the holidays, that you really need to have your people in place and up and running before Halloween in order to bleed into
Okay.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, the January white sales. So we can look forward to that.
Excellent. I know I look forward to it because that's my stomping grounds.
Yeah.
So I can appreciate both of those. And speaking of those type of additions to the city of Homestead, I know that it's your goal to bring in more substance to the city of Homestead in terms of entertainment and restaurants. Can you speak a little bit about that as well?
Sure. One of the things we hear most, it used to be bring jobs, and we're not so much hearing that anymore, but bring us more variety and dining options, bring us something to do as a family, as adults, for our children. We are moving now to retain an outside economic development firm to go out and, with a bag of incentives that we have, and attract a wider variety of known restaurants. It's funny, I think Flanagan's is at the top of everyone's list. I've had some preliminary meetings with them. As our city is approaching being built out, it's difficult to find locations. People like Flanagan's or Total Wine or Root and Bone, the Cooper's Hawk. They all have their traffic count requirements, their footprint requirements, their parking requirements, and it's getting more difficult to find those locations. But we're out there beating the bushes with the owners of facilities that have space now, those that are getting ready to come out of the ground, as well as entertainment. I'm told that our bowling alley at Homestead Station, if you go at the wrong time, you may have a 4-hour wait for a lane.
I've heard that.
So in that regard, that's successful. You might kind of want to laugh about it, but one of the inquiries that I understand was at Homestead Station was one of these axe throwing where you go in. But the really neat twist is that you could buy a drink and then go throw an axe. So that could add a lot of fun and a real twist to that. But, there's a lot of things across the board, as well as we have some really ambitious plans to rebuild the Homestead Sports Stadium complex.
Yes, let's talk about that in a minute.
100-acre park with everything from turfed soccer fields. And the important part about that, and they're very, very expensive, is that with traditional grass fields, you have to let them rest a day. And given the size of our population and the demand for soccer in particular, we don't have the capacity to accommodate all of the legitimate leagues and groups that want to play soccer. So investing in turf will allow them to be utilized literally 24/7. Whenever you want to go play, it's there. A performance stage, pickleball courts, enhanced lighting, and new softball and baseball fields, walking tracks, track and field facilities, picnic facilities, everything you would imagine in a regional type park. One of the exciting grant applications we have in place is that through the Department of Defense, there are grant opportunities for communities that are homes to military installations. Last year, this fund had $60 million in it. Butte, Montana was awarded $10 million for a project very similar to ours. So I'm optimistic that if they can get $10 million in Butte, Montana, Homestead can get $10 million of grant from the Department of Defense to help do this. We're also looking at different areas of, from philanthropic families. And, now I think there's an opportunity to ride the wave of popularity with the new Beckham approval. The possibilities are endless. As we said earlier, Homestead is now on everyone's radar. We don't seem to be so far away. We're not so far-fetched. We're getting those second and third looks.
We are not, I say we, because I
Yeah.
think I can say we.
We can say we.
We are not just the gateway. We are the place
Absolutely.
to consider
Mhm.
and be.
Mhm.
And with this kind of improvement, that would be a wonderful addition to the live, work, play, learn environment that the city of Homestead certainly has to offer. So that's wonderful. You mentioned a little bit the bowling alley. So I kind of wanted to touch on that and spotlight on Homestead Station because it has become a place to go, with the theater there. And by the way, the only theater around,
Sure.
the bowling alley and the Cyberium, which I learned just yesterday, has a summer reading program that sounds pretty exciting. And then, of course, within downtown Homestead, we have the Seminole Theater that gains a lot of attention for all of the groups and theater shows that come in, and the fact that it allows its venue for local events to happen as well. So that brings people to downtown Homestead, which is very good. Right next to it, however, is a pretty exciting addition coming along the way, and that is the famous soon-to-be Losner Park that we're all looking forward to.
Sure. The much anticipated expansion and renovation
Yes.
of the park.
Yes.
Probably close to 4 times its original size once it opens. It'll run all the way from Chrome Avenue to the back door, side door, front door of the police station, whatever your perspective is. We're expecting that it will be completed probably this time next month. We'll have some opening ceremonies and celebrations probably in mid-June, early August. It'll be sort of an Everglades environmental type theme. If you've been by there lately, huge mature native trees,
Nice.
Trees and other plants that you would find in a hammock or a tree island in the Everglades or in that park. So we really pay homage to our connection to the Everglades as well as Biscayne Bay. Again, a performance facility, a playground, the ability for events, with electrical outlets and just lighting. The showplace for holiday events. It's really exciting. It was supposed to be finished in December, but as with everyone else, with labor shortages and supply chain issues, here we are. But we're looking forward to a June completion,
and that's exciting because that too will bring people to downtown Homestead for a family-oriented day. You could spend the day, right? That's the goal, is have enough to do for families to come and spend the day and really enjoy what the city of Homestead has to offer.
Well, and you mentioned the Cyberium, and we've got some connectivity there, with technology that, 4-year-olds know with their phones. Some of there will be informational, QR codes, where you can scan a plant or a sculpture of an animal that you would find in the Everglades. It'll give you some background on that and then tell you where to find more information in the Cyberium and vice versa. So we hope to have that connectivity between the park and the Cyberium using technology. And just yesterday, in a visit with the Public Art Committee chairman and the assistant city manager who's assigned to that task, we're looking at that same kind of technology with some of the signature art pieces that are planned for in and around downtown and ultimately throughout the city, but first in downtown. That same kind of QR code scanning where you can get more of a history on the events or the people that are commemorated, even look at videos of the piece being created in the artist's studio. It's just technology. We're embracing that technology and really being a step ahead of it.
And that's the way to go. That's absolutely the way to go. So this past weekend was Military Appreciation Day in the city of Homestead. That maybe you might tell us a little bit about that. That's always wonderful to see the collaboration and relationship between the city of Homestead and Homestead Air Reserve Base and the units that are there. So tell us about that a little bit.
Well, and it was, by all accounts, from the outside looking in or the inside looking out, it was a rousing success. I was there within 30 minutes after the event started. There seemed to be hundreds of people there.
Wonderful.
Turned out to be a nice afternoon with all of the community of groups and amenities making themselves known to military families, the entertainment, the food. It was nice to be back in action for that after the 2 years. We have an 80-year history with the military here in Homestead, and we want to continue that. And those families have always been part of the foundation of our community, and we want to continue that. And that's just a small token and an acknowledgement of our appreciation for what they and their families do for us and our community every day.
Small token, yet
Yes, very small.
a huge message.
Yes.
Because our military personnel, I know that they appreciate feeling a part of the community, especially if they're moving throughout their career. So it's nice to have their hometown recognize the importance of their being there. I mean, after all, they get their automobile serviced, and they go to restaurants, and they shop at our grocery stores, and they are entrenched in our community. So we want to make sure that they feel as though this is their community.
Just our recognition of their participation.
Absolutely. I read something yesterday, I guess it was in the news leader, about a pilot sign program. I wasn't really sure what that was about. I thought maybe you could touch on that a little bit. Sounded exciting, but maybe it's a start of something.
Well, it is. It's a pilot program, and we're again looking at the downtown kind of as a core of a larger scale program.
Yes.
Unique street signage, something different other than standard county issue, to designate, when you see those signs, you're going to know you are in what we have determined to be our downtown. There will be maps, signs with maps of, you are here, and these are what you can see, as well as wayfinding signs. You may have seen the photo of the sign that was put out as a model out by the post office. Directing folks off of Campbell to, our government complex, the business area, Cyberium. So that will be the core project emanating outward from downtown. And for many years after I first saw the specialized signage that communities such as Pinecrest, Palmetto Bay, and even here in South Miami, sort of like Coral Gables. When you drive into Coral Gables, you are there. Yes. For a good reason.
Yes.
And I believe, and I've asked the manager, and the council has kind of signed off on that, to go ahead and see what our financial obligations would be, because right now the county maintains, replaces everything with the sign program. So in order to have our unique sign program citywide, we have to determine what that cost would be that the county has undertaken. But I think that it's important to maintain that sense of place. In years gone by, Homestead was so remote from everybody else that when you came into civilization again, you knew you must be part of Homestead. Now we're kind of part of the suburban sprawl, for better or worse. I think it's important to create and maintain that sense of place. And talking to Mayor Cordino in Pinecrest, who was a member of the council years ago when they did that, it's like, that was one of the most unique and well-received projects they did, that people thought, hey, this defines us. So, that's, and again, the downtown nucleus to define and, attract folks, and let folks realize they are in our downtown and work outward from that.
It certainly is an identifier, it's signature, and I think it's a welcoming opportunity as well. It's, you are here, you have arrived. Thank you for coming. It's special.
It is.
I think it makes the traveler feel special, that they have arrived to a place that is very welcoming. The city of Homestead is situated between two of our most beautiful national parks. How lucky are we to be able to tout that we are neighbors with two national parks? The city of Homestead has a trolley, not year round, correct?
Correct.
But a trolley that will take residents and visitors to both national parks as well as around the city of Homestead.
Sure.
That's different, and that's special.
Well, it is, and it attracts folks to our downtown, travelers to our downtown who, maybe they don't have a rental car. Right. That's a long way to Uber down to the gate of Everglades National Park. So it really, with our trolley concept, it allows us to attract visitors to downtown to get on the trolley and go for free, with free entrance to Everglades National Park, as well as Biscayne National Park. After the lull, a couple of years of the pandemic, I think we're going to see that those numbers are going to skyrocket next year. And I want to be certain that in the coming years, we have something for folks to see and do before and after.
Yes, sir.
They get on that trolley and take their trip, that they stay there and they spend their tourist dollars in Homestead before they go to Key Largo,
or wherever.
wherever.
Again, we don't have to be the gateway.
That's
We can be the place
That's
to
right.
be.
We're on the way.
We're on the way,
On the way.
but not the gateway. Love it. Love it. Is there anything else about the city of Homestead? There's lots going on that you would like to bring to the attention of our viewers today.
Well, there is one of the biggest projects we have now is a proposal by the Related Urban Group to redevelop the old City Hall site at US 1 and Campbell Drive. 16, 18 acres, depending on who's measuring it and whether or not you count the rights of way.
Right.
That property has sat unused as a drain on the assets of the city of Homestead. It's really sort of an eyesore. Over a year ago, we put out notice, we solicited proposals, came down, the council directed the manager to negotiate with Related. We now have in our hands what they have termed their final and best offer for a proposal.
Okay.
It was just distributed to council on Friday. I anticipate that probably next Thursday, a week from this Thursday, we will have a sort of informal workshop where council will have the opportunity to talk to the representatives of Related, clarify something, financial issues, question the thought process of the layout, timeframes, all of those sorts of things. It's not a done deal, but that property can no longer sit there idle.
Yes.
Whether it's with this group or another, it has to move forward. And not just for the sake of doing something, but for the benefit of the city as a business entity, as well as for the quality of life in our community.
Oh my goodness. We started this conversation with perception. There's no perception anymore. There's so much reality going on in the city of Homestead, and all these things that are coming together in such a timely fashion is going to do nothing more than just explode in a very positive way. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's very wonderful. That's wonderful. So this is the point in time in our show where I, as a board member of the South Dade Chamber, thank all of our trustees for their corporate partnership with the South Dade Chamber. Why? Without you, we can't really exist. The City of Homestead is one of our higher corporate members. We thank you very much for your partnership with the South Dade Chamber. We value it intensely, and we do very much appreciate that partnership and that friendship. Please make sure that you check out the South Dade Chamber's website. And because upcoming on June the 9th is the South Dade Chamber's Ladies of Legacy Luncheon. This is a signature luncheon that's going to be held at our beautiful Mercedes-Benz of Cutler Bay, with a spotlight on ladies whose career, stature, leadership would blow you away. It's not limited to ladies, so don't be afraid of that. All are welcome, and we look forward to that. So please make your registration. Register now before seats are sold out. We'd love to see you all there. Mayor Losner, thank you again for being here on our shout out. We really appreciate it. This has been a follow-up basically to the state of South Dade, which we really appreciate. It seems like so much has happened since March.
It has. Things are moving quickly.
March. So again, we really appreciate it. And from the South Dade Chamber, and we thank Mayor Losner, and we wish you all a beautiful day.